Hi, hello, today we're going to be reading Am I the Asshole stories, but y'all know my content is all about video games, so we are going to be reading Genshin-themed Am I the Asshole stories. Let's get started. So the first one, would I be the asshole for not allowing my GF to block a sold Genshin account? So my girlfriend has a cousin who is an avid Genshin player. Not so long ago, she became bored of the game and decided to trade her Genshin account to some random person for items on Roblox. Now the cousin is starting to regret selling the account. She wants to trade back the items to get her account back. This is where the problem comes in. My girlfriend says that if the person decides to not agree to a refund, she will contact the customer support of Genshin and give the account back to her cousin, but she will try to demand her into giving back the Roblox items back to the person. Though knowing the cousin, I'm doubtful. I believe it's unfair on the random person as they will lose the Genshin account they traded for, i.e. forced refund. In my view, it would be even more unfair if the person at the other end of the screen was a child, just like her cousin. I believe that if she made a mistake, she has to deal with it. My girlfriend is certain it doesn't matter, and she doesn't care too much about it. Since, in her words, it's just some random person on the internet. They wouldn't care about you. Why should you care about them? Would I be the asshole if I tried stopping her from forcing to refund the account? No, you would not be the asshole. I'm not looking at the comments before I give my opinion on this. No, you wouldn't be the asshole. I think a transaction was made. No matter who it was between, a transaction was made, and they decided to sell the account. They can't just return, get the account back. They can't just force this person who started, having their own story on the account to give it back. You should have thought of that. I have a Genshin account that I barely use. The thing is, though, I know I would regret if I sold it. Unless it was you could get me to sell my Genshin account for 20k. That's my lowest deal. Because the thing is, it's not just the characters I've pulled for and spent thousands on. It's also this time I put into the story, and having to replay all those quests and stuff over and over again would literally be awful. So it's not, I get what this cousin feels about losing, well, not even losing, they gave it away. It was their decision to do that. So basically, no, you would not be the asshole. If you stopped it, you would be a normal, rational person. Yeah, the first comment, not the asshole. They basically want to scam this poor person. Am I the asshole for calling a Genshin Impact character a witch and my boss thought I was calling her a bitch? Okay, wait. Oh, we're reading that one. I was a trainee at this one cafe not so long ago, and I got to meet one of the bosses. Her name is Lisa, and this is relevant to the story. I was talking to a friend of mine that I made over there, and we were talking about Genshin Impact characters. When the boss walked in and I learned that her name was Lisa, I mentioned that there's this one Genshin Impact character called Lisa. My friend was asking me about what the character looked like, and I was explaining to him that she's the lady with the purple witch hat. My boss must not have paid proper attention to what we were saying, because she thought I was calling the character a bitch. I did not get any calls for nearly a week when I should go back, so I was already assuming that I was not hired. Earlier today I got a call from the manager telling me that I'm not hired because she heard that I called the boss a bitch. I was telling her that it's not true and that it didn't happen. She did not care about my side of the story at all. 45 minutes later I realized that it was most likely the witch thing, which I completely forgot about, so I couldn't even tell her that. That's the story of how Genshin ruined my chances at a workplace. So am I the asshole? Obviously not. Obviously not. They didn't do anything. They literally didn't do anything wrong. They just talked about Genshin Impact and someone else misheard them. So I don't even know why they posted it in Am I the Asshole, because they're obviously not an asshole. Sorry. Am I the asshole for going to my grandma's funeral in my scaramouche cosplay? I, 15 non-binary, recently had to deal with the passing of my grandma, 80 female. It was obviously heartbreaking, as any major loss in a family would be. I am autistic, and I use my special interests to cope with difficult times. One of my biggest one is the character Scaramouche from Genshin Impact. Same. He's been my biggest coping tool, especially since he also experiences loss in his family. So thinking about him and indulging myself in stuff relating to him helps me. Last week was my grandma's funeral. I have a Scaramouche cosplay, and I couldn't see myself being able to deal with the funeral in any other clothes other than my comfort clothes, aka my cosplay. So I went in costume for my own sanity. That ended up with a lot of dirty looks from family, and after the funeral, my grandfather called me angrily and accused me of not taking the passing of my grandmother seriously, and that I disrespected her and her ceremony for showing up in such a flamboyant costume. I explained to him that I wouldn't have been able to handle a funeral wearing anything else because of my issues, but he said that it was bullshit and I was just making excuses. I really don't know if I was the asshole or not. My dad refuses to say anything about the situation, so I decided to come here. Reddit, am I the asshole? ETA, since people aren't understanding my autism, I am diagnosed as level 3 or severely autistic. A lot of people in the comments seem to not understand. Oh man, I laughed at it because for most people, I would say that's an asshole. But as someone with autism, like, I get it. Like, I had to go to a service sort of recently, and I had to prepare exactly what I would wear because I wanted to be comfortable. And that person saying that they were comfortable in this cosplay. And the thing is, it may be different. It depends on if they're wearing the hat. No. Was it a Wanderer or the Scaramouche cosplay? Not that it really makes that much of a difference. I think as long as they were, like, respectful at the funeral, like, I'm sorry, it's a little funny, and I feel bad because as someone who's autistic, like, I get it to some degree, but I'm just thinking about Scaramouche in a church, just sitting there. Oh, okay. I would say not the asshole, because as long as they were being respectful in the funeral hall or whatever, and they weren't, like, I don't know, pretending to be Scaramouche or throwing fake wind balls at people. They could have wore a jacket over the cosplay, so they have the cosplay on, but they have, like, a nice black jacket over it. I think this one's very, very... It can go either way. The way they explained it, and the way they're explaining their autism and how that caused them to wear this, I don't know, I'm very tempted to say not the asshole. And I'm disagreeing with Reddit here, because they gave a verdict of asshole. I saw the verdict of asshole and I was ready to hate this person. But I don't think... I'm gonna read the comments, okay? You're the asshole. I'm using Google Images, so I may be wrong here, but that's completely not appropriate for a funeral. You distract others from the focus of the service, your grandmother. It impacted others' ability to grieve by dressing in costume. I understand autism as an autistic person myself, but you need to understand how others behave in the world. Next time this is the situation, I suggest wearing your comfort item under another garment. Like I said, you'll be hot, but you'll be able to wear it. Their name is Scar Funeral. Okay, anyways, I get extremely overwhelmed when I get hot and can't do layered clothing. I'm sorry, I sound entitled, I just genuinely cannot. Oh. I think... I see all the comments are saying they're the asshole, and they're saying that they're, like, making excuses and being insufferable. I'll put the link below because I'm not going to read through all these. If I went to a family member's funeral and there was someone else who was wearing cosplay, that would probably make it, I don't want to say I'd laugh, but it would be interesting to have a funeral where I'm, like, sitting across from a Scaramouche. If it distracts people from the funeral, just sit in the back. As long as the person was respectful in general, I think that they should have a pass for this. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion, and maybe y'all will disagree. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with that or not. Am I the asshole for telling my friend not to spend $40 on a game? My friend has been obsessed with this game called Genshin Impact for a year now, and I'm happy that they have something they are interested in. Sometimes, though, they end up spending a lot of money on said game, which is alright. But I'm scared that it's going to turn into an addiction or something, because they spend money to get characters in the game, but it's not certain they will, so it's like low-class gambling. No, it's just gambling in general. They have been playing the game for hours trying to get a certain character called Hu Tao, because, and I quote, she's their waifu. Hu Tao is only available at the moment for a certain amount of time. The time's nearly over, though, and they haven't got her yet on any of their accounts. They have a second account which they intended not to spend any money on, but they really want to have this character on at least one account, and now want to spend $40 on the game to try and get her. You're not going to get her for just $40 unless you're really far into pity. It's not even certain they will get her. They told me this yesterday, and I instantly was concerned for how carelessly they had been spending their money. Although a little aggressive, I tried to tell them this in a nice manner, but they immediately became defensive, saying I'm being controlling and manipulative. I know it's their money, but I'm just trying to look out for them. They don't have the most stable financial status, so I don't want them to waste it. They even resorted to calling me jealous and making fun of my finances since I have been quite broke lately. They kept dragging it on, calling me names and so on. It was driving me mad, so I ended up telling them to piss off. There's a way to show concern over gambling without saying you shouldn't do this, or without saying like you shouldn't do this, or this is wrong, or using like, in this sense, harsh wording. You could have gone to the person and said, hey, I'm a little bit worried how much you're spending on this game. You don't even know if you're gonna get her. Do it in a gentle way. I mean, in general though, it's not really their business how this person spends their money. And they're saying $40. I mean, this person isn't even going for the $99 pack. If they were going for the $100 pack, maybe I'd understand this person. Actually, no, there's no 40 pack. There's only 29, 49, and 99. So I don't know what this person's talking about. Basically, mind your own business. Let this person gamble if they want to. Everybody has their vices. Alright, that was the video. Maybe I'll do another one of these. Maybe I'll look up Honkai Star Rail next. Or Mystic Messenger. Oh my god, I need to look at Mystic Messenger. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye.